So me and my flamingo friend were having a debate. Do I hate feminists? As an MRA or men's rights activist, do I hate feminists? And a lot of people might be surprised to hear the answer is no. And this is something that a lot of people misunderstand, and I myself have evolved over the years. I think that most people who call themselves feminists, like the average person on the street who identifies as a feminist, is like me, a good person who believes what they say and they have their beliefs and they have their biases. And yes, I mean, I do have biases. I think my biases are true. I think I'm correct, but there are biases nonetheless. And I think the problem is people are conditioned to see people with other perspectives or other opinions as the enemy. Because, oh, if you disagree with my ideas of equality, then you must be against equality. But that's not, I think, what's going on most of the time. It's that people have different sets of information or a different way of interpreting the data or the situation, and people have their own personal biases and personal experiences where they were discriminated against for being a man or being a woman, and so then they carry that going forward. So I think that a lot of MRAs and feminists, if they were to sit down and they would talk about things, they would see they actually have a lot of things in common and they actually agree on a lot of things. And even the things they disagree on, they might agree on a core principle or a core concept or value, but they would disagree on something like the wage gap, right? Do women get paid more than men or do men get paid more than women? But they would both agree that the genders should be paid the same, right? They don't disagree on the idea of equality, they just disagree on what's actually happening. I think Democrats and Republicans are the same way. A lot of Democrats think that all Republicans, are anti-vaxxers or racists or crazy MAGA people, and a lot of Republicans think that all Democrats are socialists or hate white men or hate the Second Amendment. And in actuality, that's just not the case. If they were to sit down and actually talk, they would realize that that's not the way that it is. But our media today and our social media today is not about sitting down and talking to your quote unquote enemy and seeing your common ground, but it's about encouraging people to hate one another, encouraging people to see the other person as the other side or see the other person as the enemy. And when I flick through Fox and CNN and I watch how they talk about each other, it's just like they're not even trying to make peace. They're not even trying to get along. They're not even trying to cooperate or work together. It's purely about division. So for the record, I do think there are a lot of very toxic feminists, and unfortunately, there are some toxic feminists in positions of leadership. And believe me, 100% screw those feminists because they're awful. So I'm not saying that doesn't exist. What I am saying is I think a lot of people, when it comes down to it, we are kind of very much alike.